my word be that goes out of my mouth, it must produce what I declare. It cannot return to me void, like the rain comes down from heaven and it waters the earth and the grass grow and the cattle are fed and the sun comes out and the rain goes back up and then it comes down again. So it is with the word. The word I speak and the word you speak is continuously being made manifest. And every morning we get up with a clean slate and we get to writing on the slate of life by the words we speak. And so I'm learning to be very, very careful, trying to learn or attempting to learn, because the power and glory of God does not understand a joke, and there's no erasers to life. So what I say is already done. And so my wonder is about, as smart as we are, we do not, the human race does not have the respect for nature that I would like to see. That our lawn is just bright green and the kids cut the lawn. And on the back of the lawnmower, there's a basket that catches the grass. When actually the grass that's left on the ground goes back into the ground and it becomes mulch and it grows the grass. But in order to keep a certain appearance, we are not helping the situation. And as I am also thankful, as I said in my meditation, that I have a nursing background and that I know the body, the physical body. I don't know the spiritual body as well as I know the physical body. But if a person knew their physical body, they would say like Mahalia Jackson, my God, how great thou art. How great thou art. That we have something in our bodies called an immune system. And the immune system is there to protect us. And the little fine hairs in our nose and our ears are there to catch any kind of foreign object that might enter our bodies. And there was a time, because I was in the military, a lot of things happened that I learned better after we got out. When it was popular to remove your children's tonsils, and kids get the sore throat, and all my kids had allergic reactions, so something was always going on with their throat. So we marched them all to the doctor, and they removed everybody's tonsils on the same day. And of course, it didn't bother the kids because they gave them popsicles or something cold. But it was after I got out of the military and I went to nursing school that I found out the tonsils are part of the filtering system in the body. Like, wow, I didn't know that. So they finally stopped doing that. But sometimes before they find out what they've done, they've already done it. And so it is with a lot of things that I see happening now. So I find that I've been told that I'm talking when this is social time. So
welcome everyone to our Wednesday night midweek oasis. And we got some echo going on, so someone's got to mute for me. Thank you.
No, someone muted Paul.
Okay, we're going to get this. Am I unmuted now?
You are unmuted. Yes.
Excellent. Well, welcome everyone. Take 3 to our Wednesday night service, Wednesday, January 19th. We have the wonderful Reverend Dr. Elouise Oliver as our speaker tonight. And I want to tell you a little bit about what Wednesday night is. First of all, I welcome our church family and our friends and everyone that's joined us tonight. So what is our oasis? It's a time for us to get together in between Sundays so we can have an informal, intimate, and rich experience. No one delivers that better than Reverend Dr. Elouise Oliver. So let me tell you what our annual theme is this year. It's a new year for those that are just joining us. If I haven't seen you since the start of the new year, our new theme for 2022 is Wonder, Wonder Everywhere. And January's monthly theme is Living Everyday Wonder. Now, we've kind of kicked that off with different services on Sundays and last couple of Wednesdays. So if you're here for the first time, be in wonder tonight. Enjoy the wonder of it all. If you're here for the first time, I encourage you to look around our website. You obviously found us. In the lower left-hand corner is a way you can stay better connected with us by signing up for our weekly newsletter, The Village News. You can put your email address there, and you'll see what's coming up in the coming week with all the Zoom information and connections. And during the service, until we go into some sharing period a little bit later on, we ask that you mute your microphone and your camera so that will improve the quality of the transmission. Also, I have some special and important announcements, and we will be reading the new Minister's Covenant during the announcement period towards the end of the program tonight. Our speaker tonight is, as I've said multiple times as people are joining, Reverend Dr. Elouise Oliver. Now, Reverend E has told us on multiple occasions, she comes every other month on the third Wednesday. And she's told us on multiple occasions she considers Oakland Center her spiritual home. And that's because she attended here as a congregant, then became a practitioner, and then served as one of the staff ministers here at the center. She had a calling, and the calling was the East Bay Church of Religious Science, where she served as their senior minister for many, many years and built that up to the great, great, great center that it is now. So we're so blessed to have her tonight. So Reverend E, I'm going to get you started and ask you to continue on your topic. She's speaking about embracing the now with wonder. So let's welcome Reverend Dr. Elouise Oliver.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's amazing. Life is just amazing to me. Because I know that you'll have more people at the end than we can welcome people again. So today's lesson in the Science of Mind magazine, and it's choosing faith over fear. And at this time in our lives, there's so much going on. And there's an attitude of fear. Sometimes it's difficult to stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. The Lord shall fight for you, and you shall hold your peace. That's a scripture. I find now I have a coach, and I said to him, I don't want to be angry, because when I'm angry, I can say a lot of things that I want to know how to say peacefully. But I have a law in my house. I don't want to discuss COVID, and I don't want to discuss politics. I don't want to know whether you believe in vaccination or not. I don't care who's in office or who thinks they're going to office. I don't care about that because none of that has power over me. If I listen to the news and the conversation, I haven't learned how to listen to all this without having a thoughtful reaction in my own head. And I'm attempting to write a book called From the Outhouse to the White House. Because I was actually born in rural Florida where we had no running water. So we actually had an outhouse. It's a disgusting thing to think about, but I want to impress upon you how far God has brought me. And every time I talk, all I'm doing is witnessing about the grace of God, regardless of what the topic is, because there's always wonder. I have what is known, I go to what's called an energy doctor. He's a chiropractic doctor and he does allopathic, well, he does energy medicine. And he told me one time to take off my shoes and go outside and stand on the ground because the ground is magnetized. And there's certain conditions that's happening in your body that you need some clay. And as a matter of fact, there's some clay that's made. That's a grade of clay that can be eaten. And that clay will attach itself to any kind of metal that's in your body. And one of the things that they found in the brain of Alzheimer's patients is aluminum. But if you go and eat some dirt, this certain kind of clay. Now the old folks in the country where I was raised knew that. And they would go to a certain place in the side of a hill. And there may be sand on top and sand below, but in the middle there'll be a streak of clay. And they would dig that clay out and give it to pregnant women. And so now the mind of God through mankind, because as far as I'm concerned, that's how all advances come. Somebody used the mind of God to bring to us something that was needed for the life we live now. And somebody has learned to purify the clay. And I can make myself a drink with clay and purified water. And I can drink it. Oh, hallelujah. And the Bible says if you've taken anything poison, the Lord will deliver you. So if I've taken anything poison in my body, I have a jar stuff in there in my refrigerator. I can stir it up and take me some. Don't taste good, so I can put me some juice in it. But we've also laughed a lot and says, if it tastes good, spit it out. Because 9 times out of 10, the flavor that we like is sugar or salt. So if it tastes good, spit it out. So the food grade clay don't taste good. But there's something already prepared for everything. And this epidemic we have, every 10 years, there's some kind of epidemic. And I don't know why that is, but my mother talked about the flu epidemic when she was a girl and how many folk died from that. And all I'm saying to you is that it's a wonder The wonder is that we have not figured out how to be happy now and not be happy when. I'll be happy when this happens. Or I'll be happy when my kids are going off to college and I'll be home by myself. Or I'll be happy when I make more money, or I get a better job, or this or that. But it's possible to be happy right now. God made it so. And so we used to sing at East Bay Church. I woke up this morning with my mind, and I didn't get that from science of mind. I got it from my childhood. I've got it from knowing that when I woke up this morning, we laughed at my grandmother. She said, I thank God that I woke up this morning, I was clothed in my right mind. And we would laugh at her because grandmama act like her mind is like a coat or something. I woke up this morning, I was clothed in my right mind. I have reasonable portion of good health and a full activity of my limbs. And then we would wave our arms in the air and laugh because my grandmama called her arms limbs like the tree limb. But then my husband was stationed in Germany after I grew up. And it snowed, then it rained, and then it got cold. And the snow was slippery like ice. And I stepped out the front door and twisted my hip and leg and everything. And I had a cast from my waist down. And I couldn't turn over until my husband turned me over at night. And I thought about my grandmother, because now I did not have the full activity of my limbs. And the wonder is that we don't understand what God is and how God is until we have to. And so I'm saying I thank God for every calamity in my life, because it led me to a new understanding of God in me, as me, is me. That's what happens to our difficulty. The wonder of now. I wonder, why is it that I can go out there in the yard and put down some cardboard and wet the cardboard and let it stay there for a while. And when I pick it up, some earthworms has come from somewhere and they have found their way under that cardboard. And so I really, in my own life, I know that now is all there is. That when a person asks the practitioner to treat for health and healing, and the practitioner treats and says a prayer for health and healing, the healing happens now. It's already done. Sometimes there's a time before the person who the word has been spoken to has to bring their consciousness up to the level of I'm healed already. Because as soon, oh my God, as you can recognize that you're already healed, it becomes aware to you and already accomplished that. So there's so much wonder in the world. And I hear people all around me, now that the leaves are falling off the trees, everybody has a leaf blower. And they just blowing the leaves and they're raking them up. And we have a blooming mulberry tree in our backyard, and the leaves are bright yellow and the ground was covered with these yellow leaves. And I had my daughter to go take pictures of the leaves, because I knew the person that cleaned the yard, they're gonna blow them away pretty soon. And I have so much wonder. I do. I have so much wonder about life, about humanity. And I've always had that. I was born with that. And I've said a lot, especially when Paul and people around me do the accolades about the Reverend Dr. Elouise Oliver. All I've ever done is talked about God as I know God to be. And I went to ministerial school because I was required to go to ministerial school. And I stayed and I took all the tests. But I already knew, even from my nursing background, about the wonder of God and how this body that I live in, how it was created from a sperm and an ovum and grew into the marvelous me. And so I know that I'm not here because of my mother and father's physical coming together. I'm here because God wanted me here. That this thing that created me, that took the sperm and ovum that can only live 10 days and made it live 300 and however many days that make 9 months. And then when the time was fully come, some action happened in my mother's body and I was brought here. But everything that I needed was supplied before I was born. If mama didn't eat and take enough calcium, she lost her teeth because the spirit that created me gave me the best that she had. And then I came into this world. And just like everything was provided for me then, it's provided for me now. We live in a world that's called capitalism. And so money is the medium of exchange. But I don't care what the medium of exchange may be. Some places I have a cowrie shell necklace because I'm told that some places in Africa, they use cowrie shells as a medium of exchange. But whatever the medium of exchange may be, my supply comes from God. And I'm talking to anybody here that has a financial need now. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart and lean not on thine own understanding. In all thy ways, acknowledge God. And God will direct your path. I know I've told you the story how when I came to First Church, I was on welfare. I was on government assistance. And I'd walk around in the store and with co-op credit union, and the store was co-op, I think. And I'd have my little food stamps. And I wouldn't want to get in a line with somebody else who knew me because I was embarrassed that my life had come to that point. But all the while, the hand of God was upon me. And somebody gave me a book that said, oh, Jack Addington, they had the book, Everything Begins in Mind, called Psychogenesis. And somebody gave me that book for Christmas. And I read the book. And then somebody else told me, this looked like God in the form of somebody else, said, That man, that book that you got, that man is speaking at a place called First Church of Religious Science in Oakland. And I didn't know where in the world Clarewood Drive was. And I had to call AC Transit to find out how to get there. But when I got there, I knew this was the appointed hour. And the stained glass window of the sun would come shining through it. And I found ways to get up there and take those classes. And I took them. And I found out that all things are possible with God. All things are possible with God. And I'm still here. And I'm still here. And as long as I have a voice, I'll shout, God is, and God is all there is. There is nothing else, regardless of appearance. When President Trump was in office, I said, I don't know who that man is. I don't know who he is. I don't know who that is. So I'm going to let go and let God deal with this. What I can do, I can encourage people to vote. I can listen. I can do all that. But I don't know. I don't know anything. I'm not going to judge by appearances because there's a power and a presence that's taking care of me. I don't care. You know what? I know that just like I was provided for before I got here, when I was carried in my mother's body, I'll always have that because I said so. Because I said so. Because I said so. And whatever is happening in your life, if you want to change it, you can. You can speak the word. You can speak the word for yourself and for anybody else. Mothers have been doing this for years, speaking the word for their children. They ain't nothing like they call it astral travel. Mothers do it all the time. They go somewhere when they can't find their kids, when they're worried about the kids. Talk about directed thinking. We know how to do that. And so I give thanks for my children. And I have 7 children now. I say 7, my oldest girl passed away. But I'm thankful that I have that because it kept me going, because I realized somebody is following me. These people come behind me is watching me. And I have to be an example of what I say. Because if it's just me by myself, I could say or do most anything. But these people back here, they are following me. And I want to say to every person here, there's some really good kids, some very good kids. But the media would have you think that the kids are bad, they're doing things, they're robbing people, they're this and that. My mother said to me, children are always pushing the boundaries. And that's what they were meant to do. If the Wright brothers hadn't pushed the boundaries, I couldn't fly from San Francisco to Europe nonstop. And I've seen how the airline industry has expanded more and more and more. There was a time if I were going to Ghana, I'd catch a flight in San Francisco and it had to stop in New York. And then catch another flight and it stopped in Sierra Leone, and then go from there to Accra. That's not true now. And I know that I'm all over the place, but I'm saying what's in my heart to say. I'm saying what's in my heart because I know that somebody needs me to say what I'm saying. Somebody has a physical issue tonight, and they need to know that the power and the presence of God is a healing presence. And you need to know that just speak your word and say, I'm healed. God is my health. I can't be sick. God is my strength, unfailing and quick. God is my all. I know no fear, since God and love and truth are here. Speak your word over your own body and touch your own body. You can heal your own body. If you take both hands and just rub them together, or even clap your hands, there's nerve in your fingers. That's healing. Praise God. I also like people to come with something so you can write questions if you have questions. Because I want to say what people want, what you need to hear. But I told you that when I first studied this philosophy, somebody, I think it was Ray Charles, had written a song that the words of the song said, gee, baby, ain't I good to you? I bought you a fur coat for Christmas, a diamond ring, a Cadillac car, and everything. Gee, baby, ain't I good to you? Well, I had been, before I became singing in the choir, I wanted to be a blues singer, but my daddy wasn't having that. So when I came to religious science, that's what I asked for. Soon as I took the foundation class, I wanted a Cadillac car, a diamond ring, a fur coat, and everything I asked for manifested. I bought a full-length mink coat with a fox fur collar, and it went all the way down the front. That coat was so heavy. The only time I could wear it was at night, and I used to wear it to Safeway. It was open all night, and it was cold in the stove because it never got cold enough for the coat. But I had the car and the diamond ring. But I found out that there's so much more to life than my physical possessions. As a matter of fact, I just think I could live in a tiny house now. I really do. I was going to ask somebody at our church, could I just have a yard sale and sell some of this stuff and donate it to the church? Because it doesn't mean the same thing now. It doesn't mean the same thing now. Me and God is all I need now. If I have to wrap myself in sackcloth and ashes, and I don't have no intentions of doing that, but I could do like Buddha and just go sit under the tree. Because God is all there is. There is nothing else. And now is the only time there is. So I want to stop now. I know this is probably not the system, but I want to have people ask questions and let me answer questions. Because 45 minutes is a long time to talk for me.
And that's perfect timing, Reverend. Perfect timing right now. It's perfect.
Oh, is
So-
that right? Well, you know, I preach with my eyes closed, so I don't know what time it is.
No, you're right on time. So with that in mind, if you have a question or a statement, or you wish to at least appreciate Reverend E, the way we'll do it tonight, Peter is going to monitor. You can use your reactions button to raise your hand. I'll do it right now, so you'll be recognized. That's, see how that works? And or you can turn on your camera and go like this, and Peter will recognize you. And one at a time, because I know there's a lot of folks on the call tonight, and I know everybody would like to ask a question or share something with Reverend E. So who would like to go first?
Sabrina, I see your hand. Go ahead.
She's getting her headset on there, Peter.
Let's see, Lucian.
And you just got to unmute yourself, Sabrina. There you go, honey.
Yeah, it just kept saying the host isn't allowing me, but I couldn't tell you because you couldn't hear me. But well, I was gonna try not to go first and let other people speak because I know when it comes to Reverend E, I'm just always knowing I'm gonna use the words God is an on-time God, you know, because I really needed what came out of you today, which is no surprise for me. I heard my messages from God tonight, and I want to say thank you for them. I won't say too much more about that.
Sabrina, can you bring your camera down just a tad so we
Yeah.
can see? There you go. Thank you so much.
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's all
Yeah.
right. It's a night of adjustments.
A night of adjustments. Your speech for me right before I come here, I'm doing a book study with two of my cousins, my grandmother's hands. And we were talking about the body and the stuff that we're holding in our bodies. And when you were talking about the anatomy and being a nurse, you know, the stuff that we talked about prior to me coming on just started like lifting and healing and feeling soothed by the things that you were saying, because you know that stuff talks about like the ACE study and you know how these things are in the body, and all I have to do is use my words
Yes,
to heal.
yes.
And that was just such a beautiful companion to what we were talking about earlier. And I also want to thank you because I've been giving out as gifts the book Your Needs Met, and it was you who introduced me to this book, and it is meeting so many people's needs now because of you. So I want to just say thank you, and I can't wait to read your book. That's all I have.
Thank you. Somebody else?
I think I saw Lucian waving his hand earlier. Lucian, did you want to say something?
What is it?
Yeah, I needed this as well, Grandmama. I just wanted to say thank you. It was really just on time. I definitely needed that adjustment in consciousness. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I
Sharon.
will.
Sharon, go ahead.
Karen or Sharon?
Sharon
Sherry,
Kramer.
it's you,
Go ahead.
Sherry, honey. You're next.
Oh, okay. Thank you again, Reverend E. You spoke right to my heart tonight, and I loved your focus on the body and paying attention, and that the healing is right where I am. And I sprained my meniscus on Sunday, the big muscle behind my knee, and it was in yoga class. And I know exactly the moment that I did it. My muscles were tired and I was tired, and I pushed through it, and I wanted to keep up with the class and all the wrong reasons. And wham, this thing just hit me. And I have been on ice and lying down and taking good care of it since then. And I'm amazed. Tonight I was out walking my dog without the pain, and it's healing so beautifully, because I'm taking the time for self-care and to allow the grace of God to work through me and do what I'm supposed to be doing, which is to heal and to heal this knee. So I'm grateful tonight. I'm grateful for your message as always. And I wrote down so many wonderful things you said. The respect for nature. Yes, I too would love to live on a little piece of land near a tree and a small little home. That's my goal. That's I really understand your respect. And again, thank you from my heart.
Mhm.
Thank you.
There's Dorothy Mendez. Well, these are the Science of Mind folks.
Dorothy, she's recognizing your presence. Do you want to add to the conversation, dear one? There she is. Can you unmute Dorothy, honey?
Hi, Reverend E. I got a big old sign here that says the host is not allowing participants to unmute themselves. So I'm just gonna say, okay, and that's the end of that. Thank you, Peter. Reverend E, you know, your message is so right on time for me. I have a young cousin back east who is dying from COVID. And I've had my family and friends, and we're all praying, and today I had to come to the realization that God is in charge, and that whatever is best for Denise's highest good. And I had to relay that. I'm the matriarch of my family on both sides of my family. And I had to come to terms with that today, that God is in charge. And I want to thank you for reminding me. It's not me, it's not the doctors. It's all God in charge. So thank you. You're always right on time for me, sweetheart. I just love you to pieces. I love you to pieces. And I thank you. I thank you so much. God bless you.
Reverend E, this is Sage. I just want to thank you for bringing our children into your message and also our innate healing capacity with the wonders of our immune system and your insights on all of that. You're just an absolute treasure, Reverend E. Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you. And I want to say that there's a reluctance among people to praise God. And I think about children. The scriptures say, except you become as little children, you cannot enter the kingdom of heaven. And kids just play and have a good time. And I was thinking, if this were a pool of water and children were invited to jump in, they'd all just jump in. And that's what the scripture's talking about. That it's all right to just jump in. It's all right to be happy. It's all right to be glad. It's all right to be who you are. If you're having a difficulty, it's all right. It's all right. Whatever's going on, it's all right. It's all part of a divine plan. Praise God. Oh, there was a time when somebody made a song that love you never have to say you're sorry. And I thought, yes, you do. If you offend me, you do have to say you're sorry. But I've reached a point in my life that nobody has to say I'm sorry. Because whatever's happening is a part of the divine plan for my life. So nobody has to say I'm sorry. Nobody has to say I'm sorry. And it's all right. Jenny Perry, raised hand. Janine.
Janine.
Unmute yourself.
Janine?
I'm here. I can't unmute the video or whatever that is. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I just want to say thank you for giving me permission to be where I am,
Yes.
because everything you talked about tonight was so hitting me so tender in my heart about gratitude for our limbs and being able to walk and live.
It's all right, baby. Just let go, let God.
I'm just grateful, and I'm sad. And I'm hurt.
It's all right.
By God's choices sometimes. Sometimes I wish that God could choose a little differently.
Just let yourself cry. That's your release now. Let it go. Stop holding on to it. Stop worrying about how you look when you're crying. Just sling you some snot and be free.
Yeah, I mean, I do. Just, I try not to do it publicly. Although sometimes I can't help it, I guess, like tonight. But thank you for giving me permission, because I get tired of holding it together all the time.
Don't try to hold it together. Stop trying to hold it together. Don't hold it together.
Well, I'd rather turn off the video if I'm going to do that.
Let it go, girl. Let it go.
Yeah.
But I thank you. I thank you for just being on this planet at a time when I can hear you talk and feel your presence of God within you and what you give to this community. I'm very grateful for.
Thank you, baby.
Thank you. I love you.
I love you too. Somebody else appeared up there.
Joan. Go ahead, Joan.
Hi there. Hi there. So, what can I say? I love you, Revy. I don't need to say much more than that, but it's the truth. And sometimes I write down what I call Rev E-isms. And one of my favorites is you've got a phone in your bosom.
Mhm.
You talk about choosing faith over fear. And I'd like to do a little more of that lately. I could use that for sure. You say the Lord shall fight for you and you will hold your peace, for sure. You talk about self-healing with the hands, which I've done in the past, but you're such a good reminder of things that we know and teaching us things that we don't know. You know, you talk about the clay and taking your shoes off. I mean, I know that, but have I been doing that? No. So thank you for reminding us to do these things. Manifesting God is all there is. I mean, you know, we can say it, but how you do it just always touches my heart and my soul and my mind. Like, you know, it's like you're just so there. So thank you. And I can share that when I was a really young mom, I had to get divorced from an abusive relationship. And a friend told me about AFDC, which is Aid for Families with Dependent Children. And I had the food stamps. And I had 2 jobs and I was in nursing school and, you know, still so poor. And I was so embarrassed going to the grocery store with food stamps. And I was so pleased when I graduated from school and I could work. And I wrote a letter to the county just thanking them profusely for helping me out financially. It was such a mix of gratefulness and help and just total embarrassment. So that's all I've got to say. So love you.
I talked about that in one of my classes, how embarrassed I was. And the teacher made a big pie on the next week and talked about the aid to dependent children and all that, the budget that they have for that. And he showed us that if they cut that budget out right now, the mothers and the children are not who would suffer because they get a very small slice of that pie. The administrators and the people high up the line get more of the money than the women and the children. And that's how it is in so many situations like that. But anyhow, it was there when you needed it, and that's good. And tell somebody else, don't be embarrassed. You can let other young women know that you can make it. I have books about women who have made it because I want to be constantly reminded that it's possible, that all things are possible with God. So especially talk to young women because they have the same struggle. It's the same stuff going on. Nothing has changed. It's just a different time, that's all.
Great. Constance, go ahead.
Thank you, Reverend E. I just, You know, sometimes it wasn't anything particular you said, but it's the way it's the energy of it. You know, I worked with a practitioner for a long time, and when the practitioner prayed, that practitioner had a particular way of saying things that was not particularly direct. It was very esoteric. And I would just sit there and I go, it doesn't really make any difference if my logical mind understands it. The part of me that needs to understand it is getting it. And that's what I feel like when you're talking. I mean, it's not that I don't understand you, but it's just sort of like that the energy is what is so important. It's that the way, because it's like directly speaking. It's like you say, it's like, you know, you close your eyes and you just let God speak through you. And that's such a gift. That's such a beautiful thing that I know we all have the ability to do it. It's just that most of us don't. And I did want to say something about clay, because I grew up in Missouri, and Missouri's got a lot of clay, red clay. And in the summers, we would be in the St. Francis Mountains, and the dogs would get into tussles with either a cottonmouth or a rattlesnake, and they would get bit, and then they would go away for a couple days, and they would find a mud hole, and they would dig themselves into a mud hole.
Yes,
and they would just
did.
let the mud draw the poison out, and then they would come back. You know,
That's
they'd be
right.
hungry and ready to eat, but they were. And then one summer, me and my friends, we'd walk down these gravel roads, and there'd been a big rainstorm, and we found in one of the ditches, we found a mud hole. And we had 3 days of the most glorious time. We would go there and we would jump into that mud hole, and we would come out, we would be covered from head to foot with mud. We would go into the creek, wash it off, and do it all over again. So, and I'm sure we were detoxing the whole time, but we didn't know it, you know. But it was so much fun, because that mud, not only it's so silky, and it feels so good. And I went to a women's camp one summer, where a woman had dug up clay off of her property on Salt Spring Island, and she brought it, and we went down to the lake, and we would just cover ourselves from head to foot with this clay, and then we would go wash it off. And we had clay is so wonderful in so many ways, besides, you know. So I just wanted to say that those brought back incredibly wonderful memories. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Constance. Annie R., go ahead.
Hi, everybody. It's so good to see you.
Hi there.
Thank you so much. I just have, this just popped in my head, and I just wanted to share it with people. I don't know if this is going to work. I was going to try to show you a photo on my computer, but on August 2nd, I fell and I broke my arm really badly. And so they were taking serial x-rays, and I couldn't move at all for quite a while. But as I saw the different x-rays, I was so flabbergasted, because I always thought, I was an x-ray tech too, and I thought a bone is like stone. And bone just rebuilds itself. When you break something, it rebuilds itself around the break to make it stronger. And Harriet actually sent me a lovely card that says, knowing and declaring your arm is healed and stronger at the broken places. And that's actually what happens. That's what Spirit designed for people who have broken their bones. So I'm going to try to hold this up, just because it's just so amazing. It may not work, but
yeah, there it was.
Yeah, there it was for a second.
You can share your screen, Annie, if you want to. Do you know how to do that?
Well, I'm on my iPad, so that would be pretty difficult, but
Okay.
Okay, there.
Right up to the screen, pretty close.
If you turn off your background, you'll be
Yeah, I'm trying to think how to do that.
And you go to video, and
Stacy, can you see it?
right next to your video, if you
The
little arrow.
Arrow next to video.
Yeah, I think that's where it is.
The scripture says something about God will make you
background and filters.
broken places.
There you go. Background.
Okay.
Yeah.
None. Okay, cool.
Right, there you
All right.
go. There
All
you
right,
go.
so,
That's it, yeah.
okay, so
Oh.
this was it at first. And you see how like the ice cream is falling off the cone pretty badly there. And it's all messed up here and it's broken here. And then the next one, and it's going to keep doing this over around 2 years. It'll keep doing this.
Right.
Oh, wrong one. Sorry. Okay. So here's the next one.
A little higher. That's good. Oops, to the
Oh,
right.
See, there we
That's
go.
it, that's it right there.
Okay. So all of this, and you see this, that is new bone that just grew to help to secure the fractured part and make it stronger again.
Yeah.
And that just blew my mind. That just really blew my mind. I had no idea that bone did that. Because, you know, we just shoot pictures of it and I thought a rib was a rib and I could see if a rib was broken, but I never saw the experience of people's bone, it's called remodeling.
Mhm.
Isn't that cool?
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I just had to share that because of what you talked about tonight.
Great.
Thank
Thank you, Annie. Judith? Judith, go ahead.
Okay. It's not really about what you said, it's the feeling tone of the whole thing that I just felt. So I thank you because I felt my heart opening. This is a tender time of year. It's an anniversary of when many years ago, my beloved sister made her transition. And I'm always looking for some point where I can call her up again. And within the time of your speaking, I felt her presence. I almost felt she was with me listening to your talk. So that's all. I just wanted to say it. It was a gift. And so I thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Judith.
Are we pretty much complete, gang? Is everybody okay? Lots of nice information in the chat. Thanking you, Reverend E, as always. If we're complete on the sharing, I want to jump into some quick announcements. If Dr. Barbara can start sharing those to honor everyone's time. This Sunday, January 23rd, Reverend Champion Fleming will be speaking on Question Everything. So join us on Zoom with meditation at 10 and service at 10:30 with musical performances by Kenneth Cozy Arrington and Deb Santa Maria. Due to the recent surge in coronavirus, the Oakland Center for Spiritual Living Sunday service will be on Zoom for the month of January and possibly beyond. Our intention is to make sure our spiritual family is safe, and we appreciate you. Next Wednesday, January 26th, practitioner Judith Roberts will also be speaking on Question Everything. Meditation at 6:30 and service at 7. Our Wednesday services are also on Zoom. Now, as you all found out tonight, we have combined both the Wednesday and Sunday services link on the homepage to get to Wednesday and Sunday services, but we changed the password to 123456. It is all numerical, and it is the same whether you're calling in or coming in on a device like your phone. So everything is unified on your entry for both Wednesday and Sunday, trying to make it efficient and easy. Guess what? Diversity Circle is back after a well-deserved break. On Friday, January 28th at 7 o'clock, join our guest speaker, Reverend Susan Strauss, to discuss the intrafaith conversation. How do we talk about those sticky matters with our own spiritual tradition? How can we dialogue with each other of the same faith about things that we don't all agree? Every tradition has something to talk about. The intrafaith conversation is for those who want to identify their elephant in the living room and learn how to dialogue about it respectfully, creatively, and compassionately. Reverend Susan is a pastor in the Evangelical Lutheran Church in America. A love offering for this event is gratefully accepted. Details are on our events page of the website. Again, that's Friday, January 28th at 7 o'clock. We have a special shout out for our monthly nonprofit partner. We're pleased to partner with Hively for the month of January. They do a lot of medical and family and mental care support for families in Alameda County. And right now we're co-partnering with them to collect perishable foods and diaper sizes 1 through 5T. And there's a barrel outside of our social hall door where you can drop off your donations, and those will be especially and gratefully received through the end of the month. We thank you for your generosity. Save the date. The season for nonviolence begins January 30th, and our team is planning some great events. Watch the Village News next week for details. Let's read the new minister's covenant together. I'm going to read it rather swiftly. I'm going to ask you to follow along, and don't read it out loud so I can get through it quick. So follow along as I read my new minister's sacred covenant prayer. There is only one life. This life is good. This life is God. This life is my life now. In knowing that I am one with this life that is God, I therefore know that I am one with all of its blessed expressions, which includes the presence of a new minister for my beloved spiritual community. Because I know that the highest purpose of my new minister is to reveal spirit, I therefore know that my new minister is a revelation of God as wisdom. I further know that my new minister is the fulfillment of that which has been promised by Spirit. For it is written, I am filled with divine wisdom. I allow divine mind to fill my mind now. As I stand in agreement with my beloved community, I see my new minister revealed before me as unity in the community. I now intend to experience my new minister in full cooperation and agreement with my community, knowing this truth about myself, for I am inspiring unity and diversity, embracing and nourishing our community. I am awakening the wisdom within. I am healing and expanding our community with the power of love. I am engaging the community in building a world that works for everyone. I am deepening family consciousness. As I now accept the highest expression of a new minister in my life, I know that they are revealed in a way that illumines spirit and serves the highest and greatest good for all who are touched by their presence. I am grateful. God is gracious, and so it is. Ashe. Oh, and we breathe that in for a moment. And we're ever so grateful knowing that our new senior minister is on the way, the one that we are calling forth. And the next thing we're going to do is do a very quick offering. Reverend E likes me to pass the digital bowl around. Read with me, this gift I give is God in action. It does good work in the world and blesses creation. And so it is. We're so grateful for all the gifts that we receive here at the center through time and our treasure and our talent. We love money because money will love us. That's what Reverend E tells me to say. So I say it when she's present. That's every other month, third Wednesday. But if we love it, it'll come to us. And when we donate it and we give it out, it comes back to us in multitudes. You can donate by going to the website with using a credit card and press the donate button. You can do it the old-fashioned way and mail it with the address that's there. All of this information is on the homepage. If you're younger and smarter like Lucian Baker is, you can text an amount to 510-327-3431. Or you can use the new financial service called Zelle if it's available to you at giving@oaklandcsl.org. So with all of that in mind, I'm grateful for everything that we receive, everything that we give. I'm very grateful for Reverend E tonight. Thank you, Reverend E, so much for being with us. Stacy, thank you so much for assisting Reverend E. We know there's strength behind every good presenter is a team of horsepower and fabulousness supporting us. So thank you, Stacy. My horsepower is large. There she is. Let's all say thank you to Stacy. Thank you, darling. Excellent. I have tons of horsepower behind me that supports me. Reverend Jerry sends a message tonight. She's attending the CSL conference, but sends her love to all of us and thanks you also, Reverend E. And we miss you, Reverend Jerry. And Reverend Jerry comes every Wednesday faithfully. And so we're very grateful for her, as well as our acting senior minister. We have a wonderful host tonight. That's Peter Gum up in Portland. Thank you, sir, for taking care of everything in the background. Dr. Barber is on PowerPoint. Alice is always wonderfully doing the spotlighting. We also have Helene helping with the muting in the background. She's new to our team, and we welcome you, Helene, and your support. I want to shout out John Russell and Constance Chapman for all the work they do in the office, all the PowerPoints, all the coordination. I'd like to thank my friend Zoe DeMuro, who does an always grounding prayer for us, and meditation is necessary. And speaking of prayer, Reverend E, it's time for us to close. Would you close us out in one of your beautiful prayers?
There's an old hymn that says, prayer is the soul's sincere desire. It's uttered or unexpressed. It's the motion of a hidden fire that trembles in our breast. So we're praying all the time. Whatever we're thinking about, we know that thoughts are things. Somebody used to say thoughts become things. No, thoughts are things. So every thought is a prayer. So I give thanks for our coming together tonight. We had a wonderful time. Only one can light a darkened room. But we had 28 matches, 28 people, and the staff were all in here together, praising God. And the scripture said we were all in the upper room. We were having the same mind. We were speaking the same thing. And the Holy Spirit came upon us. And I give thanks. And so it is.